So for butterfly, this is a new thing I'm doing this year. For these videos, I'd like to get a front-on swim into the camera so we can see how they're pulling the water better and we can see kind of how they're extending. So we have a very important phase in swimming. In the stroke, you have the recovery phase where the hands are over the water, just recovering into position. Then you have the extension phase where you're extending the hand down into the water, forward underwater, and that's a very important phase for our swimming strokes. It's very important for butterfly because that extension phase leads into that first part of the pull, the sweep, and getting that sweep right helps get the head timing right and keep it right, and also help set up a powerful pull. So we're going to talk about that because there's definitely something I noticed that we can work on. We're going to play it through one time at full speed. So again, kick timing, head timing looks really good from this angle, and you are getting a really good sweep, which is what we're talking about and what we're focusing on. So we're going to frame forward. So there you go. You're getting a really good sweep that's helping you get that head up, and a really good press to drive forward. So they have those two distinct phases. One where you lift the head with your pull, and that second half, the back half, where you push your face and chin forward across the water. That's exactly what you're doing right in this video. Now, there is one thing you're doing that we need to work on, and that's right now both your hands are separate when you get to that second phase of the pull. So right now your hand's going to enter. We're going to sweep to lift the head just like that. But here's where you need to get the hands closer together. So the way I try to tell everyone to develop their fly is for that sweep, you're going to have two paddles. And then when you sweep them together in this position, right before you start pulling together, you need to get them together right under your right at the top of your stomach, right under your chest, and your solar plexus. You need to go from two hands, two paddles, to two hands, one big paddle. So you need to get your hands underneath you more for this second phase. You're going to sweep out, sweep in, get the hands almost touching so you have one giant paddle, and then you're going to push down with that one big paddle. And right now, if you can see, we got two hands, two paddles as you push back. So that's really important because that one big paddle, if you watch a lot of the top flyers, is a lot more powerful and a lot more surface area to grab water than having those two hands separate by that space of water and pulling. So this is a tweak that can really help us. Really good sweep. Right here where you're sweeping the hands in, you're just not getting close enough. So right now we have this, pretty much the width of your body is separating. Pretty much the width of your body here is separating your hands. We need to close that up. That should be only an inch, maybe 2 inches difference between the hands. They don't touch, but they need to get right underneath your body, right next to your stomach as you push down your stomach with that big paddle to drive yourself forward. One, that narrows up your stroke a little bit, which means less drag. And two, it just takes those two little hands and turns into one big paddle that drives you over the water. So this is something you'll see in a lot of the top butterflyers, and it's something we can start working for. Because you can see as you get closer even how much space there are between your hands. And it's really important that we get those hands together. Now there's a few other things on this video that I can point out. Your knees are kind of apart here on the kick. You want to try and get those a little bit more together. You don't need to press your legs together, but we don't need to have them that wide apart because that looks a little bit more like we're setting up for a breaststroke kick. So get the knees a little more together so that you can drive with the right muscle groups. But by and large, you're working on a lot of the stuff, doing the drills. The drills we're doing, the single arm butterfly for the timing of the kick, the single double for the breathing, all that stuff is really helping you get the timing down on this stroke. And it's looking really good. So we'll be moving over the course of this year and this season and summer season on adding to those drills, shifting our focuses a little bit, and developing other areas of stroke. But the big thing for you, Will, keep working on that kick. Because for you, now that we got the timing down on stuff, the better the kick, the better the butterfly. So great job. A lot of your hard work is paying off. I can already tell from the video. Focus on those little things we just talked about. I'll try to remind you and tell Coach Quincy to remind you during practice. But a lot of the stuff you're doing right is stuff we're working on right now, so keep that up. Good job. And I'll see you at practice tonight.